Hello and welcome to another episode of the Three Drunk Geeks. My name's James Lair, and with me as always are...
Oh, is that how we're doing it? Neil Picard.
And I'm Nick Grover.
Scratch that, reverse it. You get the idea. They've got a great show for you this week. With us today is our old friend designated Dan Anderson. Dan, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey, I've been gone a while and everything's changed.
Yeah,
Holy
welcome
crap.
to Studio APT. And you were familiar with Studio Hotbox.
Yep.
I was.
So-
and the fan and the cat and all those things you could hear in the background. It was nice and fun. But wow.
You were also background noise for the first episode. You know that, right?
I was like
Background for a
if you were
couple
talking about the
episodes.
first season of Saturday Night Live, I'd be like one of those guys they didn't mention at the front of the episode, and then by the second episode, I was like sitting here with all of you, and then I disappeared for a while. But it's good to be back.
Exactly.
Right.
Dan, welcome back to the show. We appreciate you stopping in today.
Awesome.
So,
And we have a studio audience.
we do have a studio audience. Let's say hello to Doc, the dwarf, also known as our friend Steven Ditzel. So, Steve, welcome to the show.
Thank you, James Laird, for having me here today with you and Snow White.
Don't make fun of a speech impediment.
Speech impediment?
Speech impediment.
The disturbing thing is he is literally dressed like Doc, which is actually wonderful because this is our Halloween show. So, yay Halloween, and I love the fact that you came in costume. Go you, Steve. That's an awesome enthusiasm.
On the way here, I followed him through public playing Hi-Ho on my smartphone and watched the look on people's faces as he passed by. It was quite glorious.
I'm almost kind of sad I wasn't there with a camera to videotape
Right?
that.
Did you have a little pick?
Could have got like a
He's
A little prick.
Oh.
you could have got like a Minecraft
my joke.
pick. Anyway, so let's start out with some shout outs. Who are we shouting out to, Grover?
Well, the first person I think we should shout out to is I have no idea. I forgot to write down who we're shouting out to. Are we even shouting out to anyone today? No one came to our thing on
Let's
Tuesday.
do a shout out to Jeff Jones on his birthday.
Oh yeah.
And all the people who came out to that. That was a lot of
Yes.
It was not me. I was sick. I'm sorry.
fun. A shout out especially to Suzanne, who organized the whole surprise potluck thing that we did.
And that was fun. That was good times for one of our favorite fourth doctors there.
Right.
What
Very
birthday
sorry I
was
couldn't
that?
be there.
What birthday was that of his?
His 740th.
Ah,
Yep.
yes.
So, gentlemen, what are we drinking today?
I can start this one off. I am drinking a Witch Hunt Spiced Harvest Ale from Bridgeport Brewing Company. And it's an ale brewed with cinnamon and nutmeg. And I will tell you how it tastes right after this.
The suspense is killing me.
It's fucking warm. No. It's not bad. It's a little hoppy. Ale-ish. There's more ale to it than spice, but it's
More
not bad.
ale than men now, twisted and evil.
No, not at all. It's good. You want a sip?
Yeah, give me that.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, I am drinking a much.
At least pass it?
No.
Thank you.
I have to aid you, booze hounds.
No, I was hoping he would.
You are the beer wench in this episode.
Son of a bitch.
Well, while you're tasting his, God, that sounded dirty.
Beer
I
wench.
am drinking a Mudshark Brewery Peaceful Pumpkin, and it's a pumpkin ale, like many other pumpkin ales I've been drinking these last few
Surprise.
episodes. Like I said, I'm on a never-ending quest to drink as much pumpkin beer as I can while it's available. And in my opinion, I've had better pumpkin ales, but it's good for what it was. A 6-pack cost me like $8. Couldn't complain too much. So I do recommend it, especially since it's not too overly priced for pumpkin beer. Grover, what are you drinking today?
I am drinking this rum from Trinidad called Zaya, Grand Reserve, a 12-year-old. And really, there's not a whole lot to say about it except that I'm drinking it straight and it's amazing.
It's good. It's
It
not
is a
pirate
good
rum, but it's good.
Is that a spiced rum?
Yes.
Is it? I don't think
it's
so.
barrel aged.
It is barrel aged, but it doesn't say anything about being spiced.
I don't think it has actual
Yeah,
spices,
it is-
but the
it-
fact that it was aged in those barrels has
It
gives
tastes
it
like fucking vanilla. That's what it tastes like.
yeah, it gives it a flavor.
It's really good.
If straight rum didn't like automatically make me want to vomit, I would totally try that because I like rum. It just makes me sick.
Well, aren't you unfortunate?
I know, right? Anyway,
You should try some of that Myers, man. That dark.
I've had Myers Dark. It's like drinking cough syrup.
It's awesome.
Tussin.
Put some tussin on it.
In true straight edge fashion, and in also the fashion of a man who doesn't sleep much during the month of October because of how goddamn busy I am, I have a coffee in one hand and a bottle of water in the other. Doc, on the other hand, is drinking a full bottle of Framboise.
Which he has
Framboise
too.
lambic made by Lindemann. Why don't you lean in and tell him about it?
Framboise is a lambic brought to you by the wonderful nation of Belgium. They have raspberries and stuff in there, and it is delicious.
Framboise is the French word for raspberries.
Brought to you by the makers of White Power and Waffles, Belgium. Yes, that's Belgium.
By the way, I don't know if you knew this about lambics, but once you make a lambic in the fermenter that you use to make beers, you can never make another kind of beer again.
Yeah, you've
It has
told
to
me
be
that.
lambic.
Because once you do it, it'll contaminate everything else and turn it into a lambic.
You can
Yeah,
never
say
get
it's
rid
all
of
gonna
that
taste
fucking-
fruity.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about lambics is lambics are like an
James
offshoot
said
of beer.
fruity.
Well, here's the thing: if you don't put fruit in a lambic, they taste really, really bad. They do.
Right.
They're sour and they're gross, and that's why they put the fruit in there to balance that out.
You know, along the same concepts, they say if you eat a lot of fruit, your semen won't taste sour or gross. It will actually taste like sweet fruit.
I don't know how we got on there, but thank you for that tip, James.
No problem.
Your
Anyway.
semen tip of the day.
Dun, dun, dun.
And now you know.
Right. All right. So the reason we brought Mr. Designated Dan on the show today, or as he's known in the Rocky community, Jack Sullivan.
That's me.
The reason we brought Designated Dan on the show today is because it is Halloween time, and we three nerds have a big passion for Rocky Horror, and it has a long-rooted tradition steeped within the Halloween time. So we thought we'd bring you on. You talk about the show. We'll talk about the origins of Rocky and why it means so much. And to this day, it still is a huge draw for freaks and geeks and weirdos. And then we're gonna let you plug your show for a bit.
Absolutely. As far as the origins of Rocky, I'm truly of the belief that it is a cornerstone of our modern nerd culture. I mean, it's the original cosplay. I mean, before 75, 76, how many people did you see, like, running around in costumes? And things like
Well,
that?
I was not alive.
Well, exactly, but I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of that, you know?
I don't know. When was the first Star Trek con, though?
Early 70s.
Early 70s?
Yeah.
So about the same time?
I
Yeah.
think it was one of those things. Well, again, like I said, I think it's definitely a building block of nerd culture, of geek culture. It's a rite of passage, you
Right.
know? Where it's one of those things like with punk rock. I used to teach music history, and real quickly, punk rock things were developing unbeknownst to each other all around the place at the same time. And they kind of all melded together eventually, and boom. And that's kind of the way it is with geek culture. I think you had Rocky over here, and Star Trek over here, and Star Wars over here, and just things like that slowly started melding together, and then you have the big, wonderful ball of nerdiness that we have now.
Right. So, Dan, when was the first time that you ever went to Rocky Horror? How old were you?
Oh man, you know, that was I first saw it when I was 14 because my stepmom, shout out to my stepmom who's awesome, she showed me a copy of it one day because my mom is all hardcore Republican and never would have dreamed of even mentioning something like that existed to me. So I didn't go to a live show though until years later. I didn't go until it was Halloween 09 was the first time I went.
What?
Yeah. So,
You? Halloween 09?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right. I know, right?
I know, you know, lots.
I was
lots
out of
time.
high school by then.
Yeah, I know. Lots of
For like
time.
4 years.
Lots of time had passed, and I had loved the movie from a younger age. As I said, my stepmom showed it to me. I fell in love with it. She bought me the soundtrack in exchange for cleaning up the garage. And fast forward to now, and I've been doing this. It'll be 2 years in January. I've already performed for the national convention that was just here over Labor Day weekend, and I'm doing another Halloween show.
Now, Dan, will you do us a favor here? And for any listeners that may not be aware of exactly what Rocky Horror is, give them a brief rundown of not just the movie in this case, but also what it means to go see a live performance of Rocky Horror.
Well, the movie itself, it's a send-up of glam culture and what was budding as pop culture mixed in with, a parody of the old 50s monster movies and sci-fi movies, all kind of mixed together. And it's a musical, so it's a very weird mishmash, and it's best experienced live.
One thing though you have to understand, you didn't cover was like that blatant sexuality of the 70s.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that was kind of playing into the glam culture because
Yeah.
people like Bowie were pushing androgyny. And I mean, you're not going to find any more pushing the envelope of androgyny than Tim Curry as Dr. Frankenfurter. I mean, that's something that if I'm in that costume promoting, I'll still walk down the street and you'll still have the bros and the wannabe gangster guys who are immediately threatened by me being there. like automatically, and you'll have people like yelling "oh fag" or stuff like that. So, and then they get really pissed when I say "don't be mad, I'm prettier than you."
Those damn homos.
Right? God, stealing all our jobs, marrying our women.
They took your germ.
Homos go home.
Go back to Utah, homos.
Wait a minute.
What?
Hey.
We don't want to live there.
Well, you didn't know that homosexuals spawned in the Great Salt Lake and walked from the depths and infected our
Is that where I came from?
Did Guinevere deliver them like Excalibur or what?
That was the Lady of the Lake, not Guinevere.
Oh, well, some
And it was
bitch
not
in the
Excalibur,
water.
It was a dildo
Oh, well, there you go.
My.
That's how it happened.
shaped like a fist.
King Dong.
King Dong.
Anyway,
Disco Dong. Funky Dong.
this,
He's my favorite honky.
Yeah. Okay, back on
Sorry.
track.
Yes.
so Dan, anyway, unlike you, I mean, I briefly discussed Rocky on the show before. I started going at a very young age. I think I was like 13 years old when I went to my first show, and it was pretty much continuous up until like 25-ish is when 26 is when I really stopped going to shows and actively performing with them, because I participated with Rocky Horror for about 10 years, and I know I drug Neil into the same thing. I brought him to plenty of shows. Isn't that right, Neil?
Well, I was involved in my own end, too.
Right. Yeah.
For
it's-
years and years, I was doing photography for Matt. Not years and years, but like 2 years.
Right.
Off and on. And, you know, I still, after my computer has crashed, not seen a single copy of any of those. And I would take upwards of 700 photos a night. And he said he was going to put them on the website. I don't know what happened. But, Matt, if you still have them and you happen to listen to this, what's up with that, buddy?
I'm going to make him listen to this episode now.
Hi, Matt.
Anyway, so Grover, when was your first Rocky Horror experience? I know that you were going in Florida. Is that right?
Yeah, when I was 16, in Ybor City, I think.
What
been quite a while.
what drew you to Rocky Horror?
I had some friends who were in that sort of milieu, if you will, but you know, really, I wasn't really into it at the time. At one point, like my sister, she happened to have a copy of it. She moved out of the house, and I just sort of one thing led to another.
You know, I can't speak for any of you gentlemen here, but one thing that really drew me to it is the mantra that's repeated in the floor show scene, "Don't dream it, be it." And I think that's really what Rocky Horror stands for, is looking at this film about a straight-laced couple, Brad and Janet, you know, so Barry Bostwick and Susan Sarandon, you know, as they meet Dr. Frankenfurter and the rest of the Transylvanians. You see this huge change from being so straight-laced and repressed to just full of sexual energy and freedom, and it really was.
No, not really. They go from straight-laced fucking
Well, Brad gets-
Republicans to fucking crawling on the fucking dirt.
Brad gets destroyed, Janet becomes a slut.
Yeah,
but,
she does. But that's the sequel.
Yeah, exactly. But it really stood for what the 70s were. I don't want to say were all about, but a good chunk of what the 70s were about.
I think that's the big thing you hit on, freedom. I mean, that's what attracted me to it. And it's funny, like when I first started performing, it was like, hey, what part do you want to play? Do you want to play Brad? And I'm like, fuck no. I want to play Dr. Frankenfurter. Are you kidding me? And I was like, that's the kind of freedom it is, because you put on that stuff, you put on that makeup, you put on those heels, I can be as bad as you want to be.
Well, again, just some background for any listeners who may not be aware of what Rocky Horror is. Essentially, what we Rocky fans do when we go to a show is there's usually a live cast that is not only acting out the movie in front of the screen, but there's usually what we call callbacks, so people shouting particular lines at certain points in the movie, things being thrown, such as rice, toast, your lunch, your girlfriend's legs.
Squirt guns.
And a lot of people,
ring.
you know, might not be familiar with shadow casting. And let's just clarify. Shadow casting is cosplaying with motion. You are cosplaying to the movie. Basically, you dress up as the person that you are portraying, and you try and do the most screen-accurate job you can. Now, some nights, they do have a thing called Hell Night, where people will play parts that they've never played before, and those are very interesting to watch.
Hell Nights were always the most fun when I was on cast. I loved Hell Nights.
I've done one Hell Night, and I ended up playing Eddie instead of Frank that night.
Nice.
And
But
it was a lot of fun.
You played Eddie before, so.
like once or twice, but then again, I've played by
Didn't you
this point
play
half the movie.
Columbia? Oh, no, that was the gay one.
I have played Columbia 3 or 4 times, and actually I fucking love doing that. It's a lot of fun.
You're a lady.
I know, but I play one on TV. No, that's I have a fucking blast playing Columbia, you know?
You know, I always wanted to play Riff, but I'm fat like Meatloaf, so can't do it.
No, are you kidding? I've seen some huge riffs.
Oh,
You'd be
I've seen
fine.
some huge everything.
Exactly. I've seen Fat
That's a
Columbias.
huge riff.
I've seen Fat Columbias. I've seen Fat Franks.
There's
I've seen Fat Riffs.
There's a lot of fat magentas.
Why is that? Why is it always the fat bitch that becomes magenta?
Well,
because
why are we saying this? Somebody's gonna get offended.
True.
All
Well,
the magentas.
I say every magenta out there is good.
I will go on
Not
the
every
record and
magenta.
say,
I will say that, but I've seen my fair share of larger ones.
hey, I will go on the record and say that our magenta Helen Havoc is fucking amazing, and a big reason why you guys should come see the show. She's very, very talented. Does all my makeup. I mean, the reason I don't look like a dog put on my makeup.
I
is
think you would look
because
like
of
a
her.
clown if you did your makeup yourself.
I'm fucking terrible. I'd end up poking my eye out. Is actually what I'd end up doing.
But see, that's how you learn, by poking your eye out.
But
a
I
few
only
times.
have 2 eyes.
So I learned how to.
Well, that's why
that's
you
why I
learn.
have 2.
That's why you learn quickly.
Apparently so. But
The good Lord gave you 2 eyes for a reason.
So you can lose one if you need to.
But no, actually, that leads us into our cast. I think person for person, we have an absolutely fantastic cast at Midnight Mayhem right now. From Helen Havoc, who is our magenta, has been for a while, and is Dory Hartley approved. Which she'll love that I said that. Dory Hartley's the person that started shadowcasting to Rocky back at the Waverly Theater in New York City in the 70s, and that's where all of us crazy kids come from. We all owe a big debt to Dory, you know. And then folks like our Columbia is Sammy. She just came to us from the Blue Mouseketeers cast up in Seattle, Washington, and she's pretty fantastic too. Our Rocky is actually from a cast called Transylvania Concubines out in Fairfax, Virginia. So we actually have a good mix of some awesome people from all over the country right now. And I think we put on a really good show, and I think if you come to the show, you're really going to enjoy it.
That's one thing I do admire about your cast is you guys really are trying to maintain a level of professionalism from what I can see as far as appearances, costumes, casting. You know, I'm going to go on the record and say this because for those of us who live in Arizona that follow the Rocky scene, we know that there are 2 casts currently in Rocky. The Rocky scene, there's Midnight Mayhem, and then there's our friends at Frankie's Fishnets. Frankie's Fishnets performs at Film Bar once a month.
Which is not the sole purpose, but 90% of the reason I have chosen this cast, because I don't have to drink in the parking lot anymore before Rocky, or step outside to drink
Exactly.
in the parking lot.
Dan,
I can do it there in the theater and have a great time.
Right. I agree. And Dan, I love you like a brother, man. Like the brother I never, ever, ever wanted. But, you know, that's one thing I will say. That's why I go to Frankie's Fishnets a lot, because I can drink during the show. I will say their show, and I say this in a nice way, it's a more laid back show. I don't want to use the terms goof off show, but it's definitely more of a lax show. Where from what I've seen of you guys, and you're more.
I found a good way to put this, and it doesn't hurt anybody's feelings. They're all about having fun at Frankie's Fishnets and making sure everybody's having a good time. Whereas Midnight Mayhem would rather spend the time and the energy to put in a more accurate show. Correct?
I would say show in capital letters, meaning from the time you walk in the door to the time you leave, you're getting your money's worth. I mean, from the time that any of us come out of the dressing room and start doing our stuff and start interacting with people, I mean, for the rest of the night,
You're on.
We are on. We are those people, and we're there to give you your money's worth for whatever you're $10, $15 paid for. I mean, we want you to have such a good experience.
And now
be
it's
so
$15?
immersed. For the Halloween show,
Okay.
actually, we are booked through 20th Century Fox at the AMC Deer Valley 30. We have almost
Nice.
a 600-seat theater
Nice.
on October 31st. So, yeah.
Deer Valley?
Yeah.
In Deer Valley.
Fuck. Hey.
I know, right?
But,
it is
I mean,
far.
The theater is amazing.
I
Think
know
like
where it
modern
is. I've
theater,
driven by
Stevens-
it working. Like, I do deliveries out there, but Jesus, that's fucking far.
Yeah, but
But yeah, major congratulations to you guys for getting that venue for
thank
the
you.
show.
Thank you very much. Thank you to 20th Century Fox for getting us the hookup.
No, obviously, should point out that that's not your normal venue. Where do you guys normally perform in this case?
Normally we perform at Madcap Theaters. They are under renovations at this moment, though. So that's why we lucked into, having a show with AMC. And we're, again, very thankful to them. Thank you for having us. And we will see how this one goes. We are hoping to sell it out. We'll have some information for you.
I have seen some Rocky shows at Halloween sell out like that.
Seriously.
I have been to shows where literally 300 people show up and there's only seats for like 200. And there's people outside pissed off as hell wanting to get in
and
hoping somebody leaves so that they can get in.
That's why we have literally spent the last... We have probably spent every day since Labor Day weekend when the National Con that was here ended promoting the hell out of this show in one form or another. Tickets are available at midnightmayhem.org. Again, that's www.midnightmayhem.org. You will get a cheaper price on those than if you try to get them at the door. The way being told tickets are selling right now, you might have trouble getting one at the door. We've had a huge spike in sales over the last couple of days. So that means the promotion's working.
I'm sure it's going to be an awesome show. If I can make it out there, I'm going to. I promise you that. But personally, I might try and go trick-or-treating first because, yeah, I'm not kidding.
I don't blame you, man.
There's something about coming home with a big pillowcase full of free candy,
I'm not a big candy eater anymore, but if I wasn't so busy, I would love to go door to door as Frank and Furter just for the shock value when they open it up.
Oh, also, I spent
You should just hand out flyers and be like, here's a treat for you.
Oh. Whip in one hand, flyer in the other.
All right.
Trick or treat. Door closes.
Essentially.
All right, so next we're going to move on to the lightning round, I believe. Isn't that right, Grover?
Well, I'm thinking about this. Do we call it a lightning round and then have that whoosh?
We could.
Or do we call it the Inquisition and be like, nobody expects them.
the Spanish.
Should
I
what should we
could.
call it?
How do you want to do it?
I don't know. I wanted to put a vote to the table. Like, should it be called a fucking lightning round or an Inquisition?
I love Monty Python, so I would always vote the Inquisition.
All right. Let's call
Inquisition? You doing Inquisition? All right, Inquisition!
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Inquisition.
Let's begin the Inquisition. Look out, sin. Sorry.
Fantastic.
You can't talk them out of anything.
So in case you are unfamiliar with what the Inquisition is or what used to be the lightning round, basically we ask you these 9 random questions, and you have to answer them. They're either or, so it should be easy for you.
Yeah.
Starting this off here, we got, from now on, everything you eat has to be dipped in a sauce. Do you rather this sauce be ghost pepper hot sauce or Alfredo sauce?
So I got to go with the ghost pepper sauce.
Okay.
Which was the better space battle, Yavin or Endor?
Yavin.
What is the tastier method of execution? A 50 caliber chicken finger bullet or the bacon noose?
We'll go with the chicken bullet.
Would you rather have unmaskable BO or have your body genetically redesigned by Rob Liefeld?
I'd go with Liefeld.
Red pill or blue pill?
I'm pretty sure that's the red pill.
Who's the better cartoon alien? Zoidberg or Roger from American Dad?
Why is there no love for Zoidberg?
Well, the hand is on the other claw.
Who's the better nemesis, the Joker or Lex Luthor?
Oh, you son of a bitch. Luther all the way.
Good call.
Which is a better dick tattoo? A dragon or muscle lines which make it look like a bicep?
Neither. I would go with welcome aboard.
I love that movie. High five.
By the way, I maintain that my dick tattoo would be a ruler and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12.
That's pretty good. Props.
And the clincher. Would you rather get trashed with the 3 Drunk Geeks right now or grow a beard you can never cut off for the rest of your life?
Double bastards. I hate alcohol and I hate beards.
A life of beards or one night of drunk?
I would not break my straight edge for anybody, so I think I'd be forced to grow that beard.
I like it. He sticks to his guns.
I like that. But I think you look awesome with a beard.
Yeah, well, you also like other men, so...
Well, it's true.
I think a thin,
Not that there's
like a
anything wrong
pencil
with that.
thin mustache.
The Boston Blackie kind?
Like
Like
John
John
Waters. You with a John Waters would look awesome.
Why is it the
with my-
pencil-thin mustache is always like the John Waters? The shittiest fucking pencil-thin mustache.
No, it's
I
the
happen to-
best.
No, it isn't.
Hey, fuck you very much. I happen to love John Waters.
He's just saying that his mustache is shit.
Errol Flynn
I
had a
don't
good
know.
one too.
In
Errol
like
Flynn's
Flynn.
is the-
There we go. I might be persuaded one day to grow an Errol Flynn or a Freddie Mercury.
I could try.
A Freddie Mercury would be badass.
All right, we're going to take this opportunity to have a break here in the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, stick around. Enjoy this cute little ad that Grover's created, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
What up, nerds? Nick Grover here, and I got some shit to say about some good friends of ours. I've got no fewer than 34 podcasts that I listen to on a regular basis, and as you might guess, keeping current on 34 podcasts can be a bit of a bitch. I used to never leave the house. I was a shut-in on the level of Howard goddamn Hughes. Seriously, I'd spend days in my private podcastatorium alone with no sense of the passage of time beyond my weekly hit of This Week in Tech and a steadily increasing collection of jars of my own urine. But that was my life before. Now, I'm going out regularly, I've got a tan, I'm dating, not paying for dating women. What turned my life around? Stitcher Smart Radio. Like Kate Beckinsale and the Aviator, Stitcher cleaned me up and sent me out into the bright wide world. So, what the hell is Stitcher? It's a free podcast streaming app for all of your Apple and Android phones and tablets. Now, when I say streaming, I mean everything is all on demand. No giant audio files gobbling up prime memory real estate. So long as you've got a connection, you've got your own bright wide world of content. 3 Drunk Geeks is on Stitcher, but in case our show ain't enough for you, there are thousands of shows for you to choose from. You want news? You got it. CNN, BBC, NPR. Comedy? You got The Onion, Mark Maron, Kevin Smith's whole galaxy of shows. Science, bitch? NASA's in on this business. Everyone who is anyone in podcasting is getting it on Stitcher. Here's what you gotta do. Get your ass into the App Store, Google Play, search STITCHER, and voila, download that shit for free. Free as in beer. And once it's installed, help our show out and use our promo code Drunk Geeks. That's one word, DRUNKGEEKS. Hey, maybe you don't even like us and don't care about helping us out. Well, first of all, fuck you. Second of all, still use our promo code Drunk Geeks and you'll be entered into a monthly contest, the prize of which is no less than $100 damn. Once you've done all that, you're done. Our show will already be in your favorites list and you're set to take us anywhere. Anywhere. And if you download Stitcher and you just fucking hate it, I'll let you kick me in the shin. That's a Grover guarantee.
All right, kids, turn off your goddamn beep boops. It's time to come back to the 3 Drunk Geeks. This week, sponsored by White Slavery. Yes, you heard me, White Slavery. Now, with the 12-pack, Nick Grover.
I'm not technically white. Anyway, here with the
Wait a minute, you're half white. That's half slave.
That's technically
Go get
not
me a
white.
beer.
Yeah, wouldn't you be wanting him to get you half a beer?
Yeah.
No,
I can
the
only
beer's
do-
not
I can only do
slaved.
things half-assedly because I'm only half white.
Wow. I instantly regret that decision.
Anyway, our first story has to do with Firefly. I'm a big Firefly. Firefly. Do you like falafel?
Kerpla.
This first story is about falafel. Anyway, no, actually, it's about Firefly. So, New York Comic Con happened in our absence, and with it, a Firefly reunion. And of course, every time Nathan Fillion or Joss Whedon opens their mouths, the whole internet just fucking waits for some kind of sign, some morsel for the resurrection of Firefly, our Lord and Savior. Surprisingly, such a thing actually did happen this year. Here's a quote straight from the Hammer himself. "If we're dreaming, tell me what you think about this, Firefly, the animated series." Any reaction to that at all?
Sorry.
Meh.
I would love to see an animated version of I call this land. Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
You know, I'm excited that there's a possibility of a Firefly animated series, but it didn't work for Star Trek. Will it work for Firefly?
And it didn't work for Clerks either.
Nope, not at all.
I thought the Clerks animated series was great.
It was
though.
brilliant, but it only lasted 6 episodes. Really, only 2.
You know, for one year for Christmas, I hunted down the complete animated series of Star Trek for this girl I was going out with and gave it to her. Spent a ton of money.
It's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah,
She
it's
loved
awful.
it, and it ended up being a mistake because she was evil as all get out. But yeah, I
Wait,
hunted
were
it
we
down
dating
with
the same?
her. No, I can guarantee that's a no.
Anyway, so this statement was later backed up by Sean Maher, who was Simon Tam. Later told the New York Post that he knows someone who is, for realsies, trying to make this thing happen. He talked with Joss Whedon and is a colleague of Guillermo del Toro's, so of course, who knows if this is actually a real person or not. He might be, yanking our chain or something like that. But I'd say there's about an 80% chance that this won't happen, so we can just talk about certainties. There will, in fact, be a 10th anniversary special, Brown Coats Unite, on November 11th on the Science Channel. The Science Channel. Channel? The Science Channel.
Channel. It's pronounced channel.
Channel. The Science Channel. I'm going to watch the hell out of it because I have a schoolgirl crush on literally the entire cast.
That's hot and sexy.
I'd like to
And
get me some of that. I'd like to get me some of that
It's not gay.
Kaylee.
It's not gay.
I got a nice shiny thing for Kaylee personally.
You know what? I would say Summer Glau. Summer Glau is my thing. Usually I say Christina Hendricks, but in this case, Summer Glau.
I saw this really interesting article the other day saying, is Summer Glau a show killer?
Possibly, because she did come around at the second season of what's that show called? Dollhouse, and that second season was the death knell.
And
show.
whatever happened to Terminator, the Sarah Jane?
That's
Sarah
true.
Jane Chronicles. Sarah
Sarah Jane.
I don't think that's the name of the show, mistress.
Excuse me, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. I'd like to see Terminator, the Sarah Jane Chronicles. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Sarah Jane and K9 face the
I was about to
Terminators.
say Killer K9.
Anyway, no. So, moving on though. Neil, what's next up in our 12 pack?
Moving on. One of my favorite topics, zombies.
You mean your not favorite topic?
Exactly. So a few episodes ago, we were talking about how AMC and Dish Network were not buddies at all. And then they were making this big deal, kind of rubbing it in everybody's face. If you want to watch The Walking Dead, you can, not on Dish. Well, guess what? They finally got the lawsuit all settled, and I guess they're going to pay like 700 million wingwoms, they being Dish Network, to AMC to get the show. But in the same time, they're going to get Sundance and Independence Film and We. Nobody gives a fuck about We.
What the fuck is we?
Women's entertainment.
Women don't need entertainment.
High five!
We're knowledgeable.
That's a little disturbing how we did that all at the same time.
So what, does it only broadcast into kitchens?
Oh, and bedrooms.
Bad form. Bad form.
That was horrible.
I like that movie too. But no, that's basically all that's going on here. So,
Rough sport, baseball.
I mean, if you've got Dish, you can stop shitting your pants. You can get your zombies and get your meth dealers and your alcoholic womanizers back. You are, however, still a savage.
Then count me in as a fucking savage, because I love both The Walking Dead and Breaking
No,
Bad.
no, if you have Dish.
Count me in as an alcoholic.
I'm a savage because we have Dish.
Aha.
But I don't watch The Walking Dead anyway, so.
Cable's for suckers,
That's
so
'cause-
I don't have that.
I don't really watch
Neil's
TV.
afraid of zombies.
Not afraid.
The only thing that gives you nightmares.
I'm not gonna
It
get
is
into
a
this
love-hate
again.
relationship. Mostly hate.
Mostly hate. I love to watch people dress up like zombies and make fools of themselves.
Good times, good times. Now, gentlemen, I will say this. Those stories are great, but I find myself left with a huge TARDIS-shaped hole in my heart as of recently, since we're on current in-between episodes of Doctor Who. We're next expecting the Christmas special to bring back Doctor Who. But in the meantime, let's take a look and see what's new in the world of Who, because we got some very interesting information. As of right now, a rough sketch of the latter half of the Series 7 has been released, revealing who Moffat's recruited to write and direct the next 8 episodes. The first and last of the second part of the series are written by Moffat himself. Surprise, surprise. Another 2 will be written by Mark Gatiss, Moffat's partner in crime, and those 2 have already been filmed. Stephen Thompson will do 1. He did The Curse of the Black Spot, which, in my opinion, not that great. He also did the Series 2 finale of Sherlock. Though, here's the thing that I'm most excited about, and I'm very happy to say this, that Neil Gaiman is doing another episode of Doctor Who
Word.
with Stephen Wolfenden in the director's chair, who worked with him on Neverwhere. Now, for those of you who may not recognize the name Neil Gaiman, you're a horrible nerd, but
He did Stardust.
He did.
Yeah.
And Sandman and
I was just about to say, and is married to indie queen Amanda fucking Palmer.
Yeah.
And I will say he did the best episode of New Doctor Who since it came back on in 2005, The Doctor's Wife. So for him coming back in the writing chair for Doctor Who, I'm very excited, and I can't wait to see his episode because it's guaranteed to be gold.
Like, I literally want to be Neil Gaiman. Like, I want to be that guy. Like, he's the person, whoever I think, like, I'm going to be a writer, that's the guy I want to be, like, as a writer.
So you could safely say you have Neil Gaiman in you?
Yeah.
A little bit of Neil Gaiman in you?
I want to be a Gaiman, is what I'm saying.
It's just something else, touching back to Rocky Horror earlier. Apparently, Richard O'Brien showed up at one of Amanda Palmer's shows, and with her and Neil Gaiman did the Time Warp on stage just recently.
Nice.
So,
That sounds awesome.
That is a big reason I am jealous of Neil Gaiman at the moment.
Well, Whovians, another little tidbit here for you guys to munch on while we're waiting for new Doctor Who. From what we know, the Stephen Thompson episode will apparently be called Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, which would confirm a lot of buzz that we'll be seeing a lot more of the TARDIS. This is one thing I'm really happy about because we know the TARDIS is practically endless when it comes to actual space inside, rooms that we never see. In the early series, in the 70s and 80s, you see more of the TARDIS. You see the Cloister Bell room, you see companions' bedrooms and things like that. And then we explored a little bit more, especially in The Doctor's Wife, when we went deeper into the heart of the TARDIS. But I'm excited that they're going to, from what we can tell, have almost a practically TARDIS-centric episode.
You know, there were like at most 3 rooms in the early ones, like in the
beginning, yeah,
with Patrick Troughton and
William Hartnell. Yeah, they never showed much beyond the console room. Like occasionally you saw,
and then there was a horrible fire, and they had to rewrite Pertwee on Earth.
You know, I really want to see more old school consoles. Like, I think that'd be really cool.
Are you referring to you want to see them go back to old console rooms?
Yeah. Because we know there's 2. They've got the bluish one, and they got the yellowish one.
Right. Yeah. They in the new series we've seen obviously Matt Smith's console room, and then we've seen
He's not redecorating. He's going to these different rooms.
Right. Well,
Right.
As one of the Fifth Doctor puts it, the desktop theme is what it is.
Yeah.
Because they mentioned that at Time Crash. Exciting news in the world of Doctor Who.
So here's some more TV news. You guys been watching The Arrow? Or Green Batman?
First of all, I take fucking umbrage to you calling him Green Batman. Oliver Queen is a fantastic character all on his own.
Okay, but in the show, he's Green Batman.
Ah, god damn it.
Anyway, it was picked up. The Arrow on the CW was picked up for the rest of its season only after 3 episodes, which have been getting mixed reviews, by the way. I've liked them, but throughout the internet, not so much. So this is a sign of CW's exuberance over this is a new superhero show. I'm happy to see it. There's going to be more of this show. It needs room to grow, that's for sure. Some of the action's kind of hokey, dialogue's a little hokey, but some of the ideas that they have for the show, I think are really neat.
Is it any hokier than early Smallville?
No. See, it's really just like early episode, weirdness.
Exactly.
Like eventually we're going to see this show hit its stride, but we have to let it get past its first season, I think.
Exactly.
I think James hit it on the head earlier in our pre-production meeting where he said that all good action, adventure, and sci-fi shows, the first season is a lot of general weirdness and a little bit of crap as they find their footing and they get the funding. I think that's a fantastic point, James, and it actually bears out over a great majority of it.
Yeah, no, when there's a show or something that I want to watch, I will always start with the first season and expect the first season to be shit. And if it's still shit in the second season, that's when I stop watching, essentially. So.
Basically, this show needs to grow its beard. You know what I mean by that? Like when in The Next Generation, Riker grew a beard, and the show was like immediately great.
So they need a Riker beard then.
They need him to actually grow a beard. Like Oliver Queen does not have a beard. He has like stubble, like roguish, billionaire playboy stubble. He needs a beard. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Okay. As a big DC guy, I really want to weigh in on a couple things that bug me. First of all, calling it Starling City is a slap in the face to DC Comics because Star City in and of itself plays a huge role in DC Comics and the way things are going like that. And honestly, I think the internet's pissed that they're trying to steer it so far away from it being a DC property.
No, wait a minute. Who is the other big person who has a lot to do with Star City?
I believe that was...
Is that the Flash?
No, that's Central City.
That's Central City.
Okay, sorry.
Was it Hal Jordan?
Was it? I thought...
Or was that Coast City?
No, that's Coast City.
That's Coast City, which is supposed to be L.A. I was about to say Star City is supposed to be Seattle.
Is it?
There's supposed to be...
Isn't it's supposed to be Seattle then? Star City
yeah, Star City is supposed
What's
to be
the one
Seattle.
that's supposed to be like in the Midwest?
Central City is supposed to be Chicago.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's Central City.
Makes
Coast City is supposed to be L.A. And Frank Miller always put it best about Gotham and Metropolis. Metropolis is New York City by day, and Gotham is New York City by night.
But if we go by DC superhero rules, the rule book in the actual tabletop role playing game
Is it Metropolis, Washington, D.C.?
It's in Maryland.
It's in Baltimore. It's not in Maryland. It's yeah.
It is in Maryland.
It's
yeah.
in Baltimore. No, it's basically Baltimore. But then Gotham's actually in New Jersey.
Actually, according to
But
Wikipedia,
it's North Jersey.
Actually, according to Wikipedia, Star City is like Northern California.
Is it?
Really?
Like what? Sacramento?
Francisco.
San Francisco.
Oh.
Well, I'll be damned.
I
But
know.
anyway, I take big umbrage with that change and just how, for lack of a better word, Twilighty they seem to be making it so far. I think one of the appeals of Smallville and the reason it ran for 10 years is the fact that it tied into the mythology. You saw the League of Superheroes. You saw Supergirl and The Flash and Cyborg and Darkseid and all these amazing characters come into the show.
Well, one of the first establishing shots of the Arrow in the pilot episode is you have Oliver Queen. He's on this island, and he's running around with this bow and arrow, and there's a ship in the horizon, and he lights with his arrow. He lights this fire, and you see a pan over the coastline of the island, and you see Deathstroke's mask on like a pike.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
Okay. If they get Slade Wilson in here,
Yeah.
I might have to get on board. I need to get caught
And
up.
in the third episode, he fights Deadshot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Which
a
is
little.
pretty cool.
See, I've been reading stuff online. I'm so busy. I haven't been able to watch any yet. But one of my Rocky friends out in the Los Angeles area has been recommending it for me to watch. I'll get on that.
All right. Well, next up, got some good news for you guys.
Yay!
Yeah, that lazy bastard Ivan Reitman has finally gotten up off his ass and decided to start production on Ghostbusters 3. And technically, he's still such a lazy bastard that it won't start till next year, which slates it for a 2014 release, which is coincidentally the 30-year anniversary of the first one.
Fantastic.
That is perfect. Let's hope they actually do it this time, though.
Still no word on Bill Murray.
But we might get Ernie Hudson.
Ooh, that would be awesome. See, we met Ernie Hudson.
I'm sure Ernie Hudson would come back
He
and do
gave
it.
me a hug because I had bad bowel problems one day, and
Yeah, this is a true story.
it's a true story. I missed our photo op with Ernie Hudson at Comic-Con 2011, and I was in the bathroom and I was sick, and we went up and we were like, "Come on, please, anything we can do." And they called him, and he's all like, "Oh, well, I got a panel in a minute, but I can come back." And he came back. I got to shake his hand. He hugged me. You know, he was like, "Oh, I'm so glad you guys are here." And it was just like, dude, you came back for us, just for like 3 other people, because there were literally me and James, and then like 2 other people who didn't get their picture. He came back for us, and was totally personable. Was the most personable person I met at Comic-Con that year, other than Adam Baldwin.
Yeah,
Wow.
I would say Ernie Hudson.
Very cool.
Ernie Hudson was a stand-up guy.
That's awesome.
Actually no.
George Takei was awesome too, but Ernie Hudson blew him out of the water.
Ernie Hudson, as far as the photo op, was more congenial than.
Dude, I got a hug.
Exactly. George Takei was nice. Like, he was a great guy.
And he
Leonard,
had those awesome words. He's all like, "Let's immortalize this moment,"
right?
or something like that.
Someone
That's
to
a
crank up
fucking
the
Ghostbuster
thermostat
talking to you.
No, that was George Takei that said that.
He was all like, "We are such big fans. You're so amazing." And he's like, "Well, let's immortalize this moment," or something like that. And he's just in his George
Oh,
Takei,
my.
and he puts his arm around us, and it's like, "Oh my god, it's George Takei."
Yeah, no, George.
Hold on, I must cover myself head to toe in water-based lubricant.
Don't call me tiny.
Oh my.
But no, Ernie Hudson was a great guy. Leonard Nimoy was kind of a dick, though. So
Oh, Leonard Nimoy didn't even turn to gaze at us.
exactly, Leonard Nimoy was kind of a dick, and so was
Avert your gaze, eunuch.
what's his nuts?
Stan Lee.
No, Stan Lee was nice.
Stan Lee was so old he could barely keep himself propped
Yeah.
up on that stool.
I-
Like, you see him from the front, he looks great. From behind, he looks like the most withered old man you could find.
No, Stan Lee was so sweet, but you have to understand, he's like 90 at this point.
I do get that, but it was just like all the pictures you see from him, he looks so good. They do the makeup and they make him look great for his age. And then you see him from like the side and you're like, "Oh."
Right? Remember,
That's Stan
remember
Lee.
right before we met Stan Lee, they kept saying, "Do not touch Mr. Lee. Do not, approach him. Do not get anything on him. Like
Yeah.
he's susceptible to germs." And I'm just like, well, he is.
I wonder if he has Three Stooges syndrome like Mr. Burns on that episode of The Simpsons, where like all the diseases can't fit through the door at the same time, so he walks around going, "I'm practically invincible. Excellent."
I like when he goes crazy like Howard Hughes and wears the tissue boxes on his feet.
Smithers, bring the jars of urine.
We'll take the spruce moose. Sir, get in. He's got the
Say,
revolver.
Get in.
All right. Well, moving on from decrepit old celebrities, let's talk about Star Trek. Woo! Exactly.
Star what?
Star Trek.
Trek. Wait, Stargape?
No, Farscape?
Star grape?
Stargrape?
Fargate?
I love that joke. It's all the same. It's all the same. Star Wars, Star Trek, it's all the same.
So,
Eyes.
anyway. All right, so let's talk Star Trek for a second. It just happens to be another film soon to be released, and one I think that we're all about to nut in our pants over. So, for those of you who don't know, the title for the new Star Trek film by J.J. Abrams will be called Star Trek Into Darkness, and we're not quite sure if there's supposed to be a stress in that title, so right now we are just going with Star Trek Into Darkness. The film is set to be released in 2013, and just like the first Abrams Star Trek, we're getting a prequel comic from IDW, Star Trek Countdown Into Darkness. It's a 4-part miniseries written by Mike Johnson and arted up all nice by David Messina, both of whom worked on the first prequel comic. From what I do know, Robert Orci, who's the screenwriter for Star Trek Into Darkness and for the 2009 Star Trek film, will be working with them directly so that this will flow nicely into canon.
Oh, excellent.
So excited about that. Going to pick it up as soon as it comes out. That looks like it's going to be dropping in digital comic format. Digital comic.
Canon. It's freaking alternate universe.
It's
Nope,
alternate.
it is canon as shit.
It is alternate universe canon. Anyway, so the digital comic will be dropping in January. Keep your eyes out for it. I know I will.
The next story in our six-pack has to do with rum. It's delicious, and I'm drunk. No, I'm sorry. Actually, it has to do with Assassin's Creed. Ubisoft, you guys know the masterminds behind such things as Rayman and Assassin's Creed.
Didn't they make other games?
No.
Not at all.
Anyway, they opened up Ubisoft Motion Pictures in 2011 in order to open up certain possibilities, television, film adaptations of their already cinematically stylish games. Now we have confirmation of an Assassin's Creed film, which is set to be developed with the help of New Regency. Michael Fassbender is going to be the roguishly handsome Altair, probably. Actually, it doesn't really say Altair, but we're thinking Altair. Smartly enough, Ubisoft is insisting on retaining most of the creative control of the game. Beyond these details, there's not really a whole lot of info. Script and production still in the oven. That's really all I got for that.
Well, for the most part, video game movies suck hard. So I'm hoping that Fassbender being in this is something against it sucking.
I'd really like to see this movie succeed, and we haven't really seen anything from Ubisoft Motion Pictures. But what I'd really like to see them do is Tom Clancy films, because there's already
Rainbow
Tom
Six
Clancy films
would be
and they're
cool.
classics.
Though I will say, with Assassin's Creed, if they stick to the story provided to us in the game, I think it has a genuine chance of success, because Assassin's Creed is such a strong story to begin with.
Yeah.
This is a movie that I would really like to see if they do it right, if they do the game justice.
Well, that all being fine and dandy about your Star Trek stuff, we are one step closer to real Star Trek in our lives. Let me tell you what happens. Bessel beams, a sort of non-diffractive, self-healing laser, are what make our new handy-dandy tractor beams.
What?
That's what we have, and
What?
yes, we have tractor beams now.
That thing's operational.
Yeah,
It's fully operational.
I'm programmed in multiple techniques, a wide
Wow.
variety of pleasuring.
A broad variety of
Damn
self-pleasuring.
you, Star Horse.
But no, basically, NYU physicist David Ruffner and David Greer are the inventors of the world's first tractor beam. And what they did is they took little tiny as grains of silica sand, and they transmit concentric circles which surround an object and subsequently push and pull them with these beams. I have no idea how this works. I don't understand science on that kind of level. But what I do tell you is this is a step. And even though it's a baby step with sand, we are closer to bringing things closer to us. Having tractor beams and having stuff not having to have actual mechanical working parts to move.
Fantastic.
Right?
Anyway, you know what? I love tractor beams, but you know what I like more?
Tractors?
Nope. Lasers. I am more excited about the fact that the U.S. Navy is currently working on lasers to equip ourselves. So, from what we know, Rear Admiral Matthew Clunder, who heads up the Office of Naval Research, announced earlier on in the year that we are 4 years away from putting lasers on our ships. Now he's claiming that our seamen, that's right, I said seamen, have mastered laser physics, are now into what he calls integration efforts, which are the natural first steps before the infinitely more and exciting disintegration efforts, for which we've waited all of our lives. Now, interestingly enough, though the laser cannons are fairly expensive to construct, they're actually quite cheap to operate. The government thinks they'll be less than $1 a shot. So with these lasers and our new tractor beams, the Rebel Alliance doesn't stand a chance, and we will turn Luke Skywalker to the dark side.
America is the empire, kids.
James, a semen joke. Really?
Actually, you wrote the script.
A semen? I just put semen.
Right, well, how can you can't say semen without making a semen joke.
Well,
consider
You could say semen.
Anyway, so that's great and all, but let's talk about the kind of tech that really matters. Tablets, bitches. A lot of stuff going on in tablet computing this season. Basically, there's two big tablets coming out. Actually, three. Two from Apple and one from Microsoft. Two big Apple stories this week involving the mini iPad and the iPad 4. The mini iPad is Apple's worst-kept secret. It represents Apple's attempt to compete with the Kindle Fire and the Android Nexus 7 and has proven to be the Scrappy to the regular iPad Scooby. Though it has the edge in display size, its resolution is really shitty. The current Nexus 7 is widely regarded as being, pretty much superior to the mini iPad. On top of that, there's also the 4th generation iPad, which was released 6 months after the release of the last iPad 3 for practically no reason. It does have a new chip, which is twice as powerful, but, I mean, really, if you have an iPad 3, you don't need to fucking throw it away to get an iPad 4. On top of that, Microsoft has just released the Microsoft Surface, I think today.
Oh, I've heard about this. I heard about this years ago. I've been waiting forever.
Well, your hopes are going to go in vain because it's kind of mediocre.
Yet people are still lining up to purchase this
well,
thing.
of course. I mean, it is a handsome piece of machinery. I mean, I haven't seen.
You can set up.
Grover,
Now,
you're a
does it
handsome
work like
piece of
that?
machinery.
That old trailer worked for it, like where they would set the camera on it and it would automatically detect all the photos and they'd pop up on the thing. Does it still do that?
What do you mean? Still do what?
They made that. Like, they couldn't do that at that point in time. Like, all those images were computer generated. Like, they were just trying to show a concept idea with those trailers back in the day.
I mean, back in the day, but I'm talking about something.
I'm asking if it can do it now.
I don't know.
This is your story. You don't have the answers.
I don't have the answer to a fucking thing.
You're a
about
failure
I've
of
never
journalism.
seen.
I'm revoking your doctor card.
I don't have a doctor card.
If you did, I'd take it away.
Anyway, like everything Microsoft, it's kind of a punch in the face to early adopters. It's far from perfect. I've been hearing a lot of things about how the camera is pretty junk and the OS is, surprise, underwhelming. It's actually not using Windows 8, it's using Windows RT, and it's apparently fairly sluggish and undercooked. So, though it's kind of designed to be an iPad killer, it's not going to transcend that paradigm yet, unfortunately.
Really quick, I would rather have the Google Chrome laptop. Looks amazing.
Yeah, I've been wanting one for a long time.
The Google is Grover's tablet.
That's my search engine, Google.
He went back in time in a hot tub and started a company called Google.
No.
Awesome.
No, I didn't. Those are not my two back in time stories.
Back in time.
All right. Well, I've got a little bit of sad news because this affects me personally.
It actually affects like a few of us, considering what's on the table.
I know, right? The FDA, they've got some investigating to do. Apparently, this year, there's been like 5 deaths concerning Monster energy drinks. Now,
all those people were expendable anyway.
Monster's distancing themselves from these deaths, including one of a 14-year-old girl from Maryland who drank two 24-ounces and died of cardiac arrhythmia. Why? Because it says on the thing you're not supposed to drink more than a certain amount within a certain amount of hours. But what did the bitch do? She did it anyway, so she deserved it. You know, actually, that's really horrible to say since she's 14 years old and probably couldn't read anyway since she lived in Maryland.
Dude, 14-year-old girls are bitches. They deserve everything they come.
She lived in Maryland. They can't read there.
What?
This scares the shit out of me as a person who's had to
A 14-year-old kid?
No. Hey, I was 14 once. As somebody who's had to do Rocky shows and be out till 3 and 4 in the morning, go home, get 2 hours sleep, wake up, and go work, and then have rehearsal the next day too, I've had days where I've had to slam like 2 or 3 energy drinks. Monster's not my brand, but I don't think that's the issue here.
What do you drink?
I'm a Giants guy. It doesn't have the sugar, and it's like 10 calories a can. You know, I'm a counter and shit.
Red Bull sugar-free.
I'm a Monster Zero, actually.
You know, Dan, you're a fairly healthy gentleman, though. I can't imagine you would actually have any trouble. I mean, obviously you don't want to drink like 6 Monsters at once because that's way too much caffeine. But I do think that before we start freaking out over this story, the FDA really needs to research these people that did die from caffeine overdoses, because for all we know, they could have had problems in the past with heart issues and arrhythmias that we may not be privy to. I will say, I drink Monster like it's water, and I've never had a problem.
Yeah, those 14-year-olds.
I don't know. I might lay off it for a while after Halloween. I'll probably need it to get through the couple of shows I got coming up in the next week. But after that, I'm probably done for a while.
Just one more can and I'm done.
No, see, like I said, the chance that anything's going to happen to you are slim to none. But
slim to one.
I'll tell you something. Here's some food that will definitely kill you. Denny's is coming out with a new menu fit for the Shire.
I heard about this.
So not only can you have first breakfast, second breakfast, if you're a fatty, hell, you could have third breakfast.
I thought that was called 11sies.
I guess you're right. It is 11sies.
Are we going to have the tomatoes?
But yes, but you're thinking correctly. We are talking about a Hobbit-themed fucking menu at Denny's. Someone in their marketing department really needs to be fired, because I think this is the dumbest idea ever.
Really? You can get pieces of bread scraped with not enough butter.
Well, from what I've seen of this menu, a lot of it is already just menu items that they have and sell regularly, but they're just reformatting them. So in this case, starting on November 6th, you can start ordering such delicacies as Shire sausage, which is really just regular Denny's sausage. There's nothing special about it.
Ooh, I have to call bullshit on that one. I saw a picture of the marketing today, and that's actually like really good sausage, not shitty Denny's sausage.
Really? I love sausage.
Oh, yeah. I saw that the pictures were released online.
Fucking sausage expert over here.
I've had many different types
Actually,
of
I
sausage.
defer to James usually on that one.
I do like sausage. Anyway,
was that a wah wah but like sexy also? Like,
a little bit.
All right, so beyond Shire sausage, we also have the Hobbit Hole breakfast and Gandalf's Gobble Melt, which that name by itself makes me want to cry.
Gobble Melt.
Gobble Melt.
I'm really not sure if those names are supposed to make you hungry or aroused. But yeah, Denny's Hobbit menu. I don't want to live
the day, November 6th.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
I actually know some huge Tolkien fans who have been geeking the hell out all day long.
Yeah,
about
I'll
this.
go. Fuck that. Dude, fucking what do we do on the 6th? Nothing. Let's go. Let's go to Denny's.
Actually, I am excited about red velvet pancake puppies because that sounds really good. But yeah, beyond that,
I just want a salad. God damn it!
Well, then eat a salad. Now
I just want a salad.
A decent pair of salad.
There you go.
Wait,
Solomon Grundy wants salad too.
Fuck! I was just about to say that shit. Props to Neil. He stole my joke.
Would you say that you do want a salad?
I do.
Oh, segue! We got a segue.
It is a segue, but I do not want a salad. I don't want your veggie tables. You know what I want? I want something amazing. I want something badassery. And to fit the Halloween mood, you know what I've decided?
What?
I have decided on one of my favorite horror movies' main characters. That's right. I want a full-size statue of the Xenomorph, the warrior alien from the original Alien. Not Aliens, not Alien 3, not Alien Resurrection. I'm talking the original scary as hell motherfucking alien.
Well said, Neil. I like that you did say horror movie because the original Alien is a horror movie.
Right.
The sequel, Aliens, is a science fiction film. Right. It is not a horror movie. Sorry, I had to say that.
No, I agree 100%. And James Cameron is a pretentious asshole for changing the whole genre of the theme, because the third one went back to the original theme. It's one alien hunting all these people.
Right.
And it's scarier than the second one, but it's still... You know, the third one is the third one.
Don't get me wrong, I love Aliens. I think it's a decent movie, but it's a completely different look at the genre.
Right.
I mean, at the series.
Right.
So.
Now, this little ditty here has a fully posable tail.
Oh.
You can put it
Wherever
into,
you want.
You can put it wherever you want and in any position.
Oh my!
Yeah, that's right.
It's made from cyber skins with 3 realistic holes.
Correct. No, but the head is 36 inches, transparent dental acrylic lips. I mean, this bitch is custom made in the U.S. American.
U.S. of American.
Of American. And let me tell you, it's available on the Horror Dome. That is the Horror Dome, Dome, and that's all one word, .com. And you can look on there. And this little sucker cost 8,700 wingwoms.
Depending on how realistic it looks for a full-size xenomorph statue, I would be willing to pay 8,000.
You didn't look at the picture? Oh, wait,
I have not looked at it yet.
Oh, I sent him the link.
You didn't send it to me because you suck like that.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Mine's a quick one. It's a replica of the tan coat that the Beatles wore in the famous concert at Shea Stadium, 1965. It's got all the details correct. The Nehru collar, the epaulets, the pockets. It's just perfect. It's usually 166 British wingwoms, or about 266 American, but I know that it's on sale right now for some amount of money. Cheaper. You can find that at 60sbeatwear.co.uk.
So you're saying we get all 4 of them?
No, I'm probably not going to end up buying it, but I would like to buy it.
What about
I call dibs on Paul McCartney.
Oh, nice. Even though they were all the same?
It doesn't matter. I'm a cute Beatle.
That's nice. So what you're saying is if we went as the Beatles from Sgt. Pepper, you would have the blue one? Because I've already called dibs on the blue one because it goes with my Starfleet uniform.
But
Right.
I actually look like a Paul McCartney, though. You have an awesome George Harrison mustache.
George
Lennon. What the fuck?
George Lennon. I love George Lennon. He's my favorite Beatle.
But that sounds more like a Ruddle, actually. But no, you have a sweet George Harrison mustache from that period.
You know, I always liked George Harrison's style, especially in the 60s because they broke up before the 70s. But no, at the later half of the 60s, I love his style.
And in the 80s, he was great.
I know, but he's got that out there look.
Yeah, he does. George Harrison was pretty out there. Anyway,
Oh.
for my do-want this week, jumpinjammers.com sells these ridiculous or ridiculously awesome full-body pajamas printed all over with Star Wars shit. There are 3 models for 65 wingwoms each. The first model being the good guys with stylized Yodas, Hans, Chewies, Leias, and of course the droids. The second model being spaceships with TIE fighters, X-Wings, and Millennium Falcons. What's not to love there? And then the third model, my personal favorite, and if I decide to buy these crazy footy pajamas, I'm going with the dark side, which includes Boba Fett, who's everyone's favorite Fett, Vader, Stormtroopers, and Darth Maul. Each has the same construction loaded up with hoodies, thumb holes so that your sleeves can droop over your hands, pockets in the front, a pocket for your iPhone, and best of all, booties. Who doesn't love footy pajamas?
Me.
But
Well, it's because you
me.
suck.
I sleep in the nude.
here's the all-important question, though, James. Does it have the butt flap?
You know, I don't recall. I don't recall if it
That
has
is a very important thing because what do you have to do? Oh, well, I have to poop. What do I do? Oh, I have to take my whole pajamas off. That's convenient.
But you already sleep naked anyway, Neil.
No, I'm speaking from the point of view of the person who has to poop in these pajamas.
Maybe that's why he sleeps naked, so he doesn't have to worry about zipping
Exactly.
out
I can
these
just
fucking
poop in my
pajamas.
bed and not worry about it. Wait.
You said too much.
I have said too much.
But apparently, to our head writer here, the only thing these PJs don't have is actually the old school butt hatch like in the comics.
Boo
So
earns.
that is one downfall, but I've always wanted Star Wars footy pajamas, so I still might get these. And that concludes this week's Do Wants. So, gentlemen, I think it's time we review our question of the now.
Fantastic.
Grover, what was our question of the night?
Question of the now is very simple and it's thematic. What's your biggest fear?
Why don't you kick us off there, Grove?
Sounds fantastic. Brenda Fuller says, dying young and leaving my kids without a mom like my mom did.
Oh.
Bring the room down.
I said that's dark.
That
Jeez.
is dark.
All right.
I'm sorry, Brenda.
Well, Sasha Whipple here says her biggest fear is being alone in the dark, which I can understand that. I'm not a huge dark. I like the dark if I know what's in there with me. If it's unfamiliar dark, I'm not a fan.
Thomas Hanks, this is my favorite one on the list. Thomas Hanks' worst fear is that the Bible is not only factual, but literal.
But chi.
And our den mother, Denise Hanks, said that we are truly alone in the universe! Exclamation point.
That would be scary.
Bill T. Cat says being tortured. Wuss.
Some people pay for that.
Right?
Yeah, they do.
Some people don't even have, never mind.
You've said too much.
Exactly. All right. Well, our friend Jeff Jones, who's our drunken graphic designer here, says, losing the things I value most in life. Jeez, what are people being so depressing about? Like, I was hoping for zombies and clowns and Chucky.
I got another bring down here. Here's Paul Tamayo says being alone.
No, that's pronounced tomato.
Oh, Paul Tomato has one. It says being alone and single all my life.
Oh,
wow.
my God. Like seriously.
Soul crushing.
Jesus.
I'm just going to go take a bath with the radio.
I know. It's like something out of Ace Ventura. Light your clothes on fire and shower naked in the corner chewing gum. Listen to the Crying Game.
I'm going to go to the bathroom and cut my wrist with the radio.
Make sure you scrawl it on the wall before you die.
All right, well.
All right. So our buddy Scott Gore says, and this one I love, clowns, dolls, and especially clown dolls, and sobriety.
Well said, Scott. Cheers to you.
AZ 10th Doctor said, wait a fucking minute. That's
Did
Thomas
we just
Hanks.
cheers? Hey.
What the
He
fuck?
did get 2.
You can't get two. You can't get two. Ah, fucking fine. We'll do it just this once.
You do 2 all the time.
Yeah,
do
you
do
get 2 of everything.
Yeah, but I fucking invented the bit. I can do what I want with it. AZ 10th Doctor says, the angels getting in my TARDIS again.
This is my favorite. Matt Hines says, an asteroid covered in spiders.
Wouldn't the spiders burn up on reentry?
Not if they were like crazy radioactive space
What
spiders.
if they were replicators?
Like 8-legged freaks?
You get these damn bugs out of the great state of Arizona. Oh wait, no, that was evolution. Never mind. Oh fuck. Same movie though.
There's some
That's
crazy.
the same fucking
There's
movie.
some crazy critter movies in Arizona set in there. Man, another bring down. Samir Zubin says, my biggest fear is dying without ever experiencing true love.
Wow. Holy shit.
Whammy.
Nerds really.
Yeah.
So, you know, like,
You guys haven't experienced love yet? Enjoy your hand.
I experienced love several times today.
I named the big one Bitey.
Okay. And Eden Crow says, bugs. I'm scared of them more than I hate them. Unless they're Pokemon.
I love how you read it as like a gruff hillbilly when Eden Crow is actually a girl.
Bugs.
I don't know who Eden Crow is. Did I say Eden or did I say Aiden?
You said Eden,
Oh.
like garden of.
I should have pronounced it Aiden because it's an E.
Aiden's pronounced with an AI.
No. That's a crappy Irish name.
Oh, okay. Anyway. Well, that wraps up our responses for our question of the now. So, Grover, what was your biggest fear?
Losing my penis to a whore with disease. Just kidding, I said. Losing my life to a whore with disease. She said, excuse me, please? I said, losing my penis to a whore with disease. I said, please. I'm a humble guy with healthy desire. But don't give me no shit because I've been tired.
Well said, Grove. Neil?
Solid, man. Solid.
Why didn't everybody else do that?
I did my best hipster.
You did. That's a beatnik, not
Yeah.
hipster.
Well, same thing.
Practically.
From 40 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Neil, what's your biggest fear?
Hipsters have
My
hipsters.
biggest fear?
Yeah.
2 of them.
Okay.
Actually, my biggest fear, number 1, probably drowning. Like I'm trapped on the Titanic and like I know I'm underwater. I'm not like passing out, like I'm banging against something, trying to get out of some room filled with water, and I watch my death happen around me. That terrifies me.
That kind of-
because I've had feelings like, and I've had people tell me this is probably from a past life experience where I have had that feeling of drowning underwater. But then there's also been times where I've actually almost drowned twice, and that has really stayed with me because like I never open my eyes underwater, but at those times you absolutely I
Right.
had no control. I remember looking under the water, seeing the last of my bubbles coming up, and then like it gets fuzzy.
So you've experienced that feeling that's called the rapture then.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Esther Williams, who used to do all the pool movies for MGM, all those swimming movies. She almost drowned in the tank one day, and everything kind of got fuzzy and floating around her, and she just had this calm, serene feeling. All of a sudden,
I didn't have a
"I'm
calm
drowning."
serene. It wasn't that at all. It was I can't reach the water's all the surface is up there. I'm not going to reach the water. And then one time, well, I was very young. This was also in Connecticut. Another Connecticut story. I walk. I'm like 6 years old. I take a step in a lake, and there's a drop-off, and I am under the water, head above, and I'm there for like 3 or 4 seconds. Not enough, but like all the air. I was breathing. Water goes into my lungs. Like, I was not expecting to go underwater. I see the bubbles come up above me. The water's like this greenish-brown tint. Like, it's all around me. I'm underwater, and then I'm just like, oh my God. And then I feel these arms pull me up.
I was really hoping you were seeing the arms are pulling you down because that'd be much more interesting.
That's the deadlights. Or no, what is that? What is that called? From
That's scary shit.
Yeah, say the deadlights are it, but that's when you look.
No.
into the
What
deadlights.
was it? It was those dead things in that bog from
Harry Potter?
Wills of the Wisp.
There were no bogs in Harry Potter.
Oh, actually, there's a grotto in one of the.
I'm
wait, you're talking about in fucking
Lord of the Rings.
Two Towers, the fucking Dead
Yeah,
Marsh.
the Dead Marsh.
Gotcha.
Hey guys, he's afraid of water.
I'm not afraid of water. I'm a Pisces. I love swimming. I love being around water. I have absolutely no fears of boats.
Pisces represent.
Bam.
Well,
Worst
But
sign ever.
what I'm saying is my fear is knowing that I'm about to drown. Like, okay, I don't mind, but knowing that you're going to drown, fuck. No.
I will say my fear kind of relates into that. I'm a huge hater of heights and I'm also very claustrophobic. So one thing that really scares me is anytime being on an airplane, especially if I have to go over any body of water. So my ultimate fear is that I'm going to be on an airplane up a couple miles in the sky, and all of a sudden it's going to go down. So not only am I afraid of heights, I'm claustrophobic, which makes me hate airplanes. And then my fear is that we're going to go down over water, and I'm not only going to die in a enclosed steel tube, I'm going to drown inside a enclosed steel tube.
So really, your fear is cinematic deaths.
Something like that. No, see, there's cinematic deaths I wouldn't mind. Like, if I got into an epic, lightsaber battle with Obi-Wan Kenobi and he chopped off my arms and threw me into a volcanic pit, I'd be okay with that.
What would you do to incite Obi-Wan Kenobi enough to actually fight you to the death?
I'm not quite sure. I haven't thought
You
that far
used
ahead.
to be the chosen one.
I did not think that far ahead, so... But let's just say that it happened. That I'd be okay with that.
You're a bastard. Do you have a greatest fear?
I actually have a couple of them.
Okay.
I try to live my life as freely as possible. I try to get out there and enjoy it.
If you say that your fear is to die alone and lonely, I'm going to punch you.
Fuck no. Are you kidding? I'm too awesome for that. Actually, to be honest, as somebody who's been a performer since I was 5 years old, I kind of have this fear of irrelevancy. I would like to do something with my life and be remembered when I'm gone. We're not here forever. So, not to bring down the room or anything, but irrelevancy is a big one.
So you have a fear essentially of being normal.
Yeah.
Or average.
That's probably a really good way to sum it up.
Gotcha.
I mean, I think the people that know me, I'm many things, but I don't think normal's one of them.
No.
Don't worry, I'll mention you in my memoir.
What about your fear that you're going to turn into a donkey if you ever do drugs or alcohol?
Well, no, I do have a fear of being poisoned in some way, and that actually stems from someone trying to do it to me at a party a few years ago, and
With good reason.
I flipped the fuck out. You know me, I normally am a pretty happy-go-lucky guy, but I went nuclear, and I threw a shit fit.
Why don't
So
you
wait,
do
somebody spiked something of
They
yours?
tried to.
Like with alcohol or with a drug?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Just, yes.
They just poured alcohol in there?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I think that's called having a good time.
And depending on who you talk to, they might have tried to put something else in there too.
Why don't you do
what would that something else be? Did you hear?
I never was sure. I just knew a whole shitload of alcohol was poured into my stuff.
Dan,
but
that's not poisoning. That's opening you up to a good time.
no.
Anyway.
So I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. But at least you didn't say that you are going to die single because
And-
that was too much of a common answer. Like, I was hoping for more scary clowns and or
people,
child molesters.
People enjoy your single childless life. You have more money to go on adventures.
Exactly.
Right.
Being single and having no children makes me feel like Peter Pan.
You know what's one
King
of
of the Lost Boys, motherfuckers.
This may sound ridiculous, but you know what? One of the best things ever to do while you're single? Go to Disneyland by yourself. Seriously. Hear me out. Hear me out. It is one of the most amazing experiences you'll ever have because you get to do everything you want when you want to do it. At the times, how you want to do it. You can go your own pace, and you're in the happiest place on earth. I have done so many solo trips to Disneyland, and I have a blast.
That sounds absolutely horrible.
It's
James.
not.
And I do have one more fear though, as awful and soul crushing as Disneyland alone sounds.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, oh, I'm
Thank you,
here in
guys.
the happiest place in the world, and no one to
The
even
one-
talk to.
The
Christmas
only-
Eve.
I
the
talk to
only
everyone
place
on
I
there.
would, the only place I would not be by myself. I could give a shit about everywhere else. But it's weird for a guy that's such a huge fan of Superman and of Peter Pan and stuff like that. I kind of have a thing about flying. It's true.
Are you afraid of flying?
I can't stand to fly. I'm not that naive. I'm just out to find
I never knew you were afraid of flying.
better part of me. A little bit. I kind of have a thing about takeoffs and landings. Again, like you, I've seen so many disaster movies.
Right.
And spoofs of those disaster movies. Hello, Airplane. Say, Johnny, you ever been to a Turkish prison? But
Of course I'm
You
serious.
ever seen a grown man naked?
Say, Jimmy, you ever watch Gladiator movies?
I picked the wrong day to stop sniffing glue.
Anyway, I have a thing about takeoffs and landings, man. And it's weird because I used to fly a couple times a year, every year, having parents who lived on different coasts. And I don't know. I had a thing about it. Once we got up in the air and stuff like that, I was fine. But I usually was white knuckling it the whole way down the runway and onto the runway.
I feel you. I do the exact same thing.
I don't understand that. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been flying on planes forever, and I don't know. My mom's involved with the flight industry. If I couldn't fly, it would be ridiculous. I don't know. I can fall asleep at the dentist, so that'll give you an idea of how complacent I am with the things going on around me.
One of these days, I think I want to actually pull a Bill Shatner in Twilight Zone on an airplane and just be like, "There's something on the wing, something."
Wow, that was in stereo. Very nice.
That was in triple stereo.
I know.
But yeah,
Now available in stereo. Where available?
I totally feel you on the flying. Not a fan. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that wraps up our show for this week. So,
Wait. Grover, how many is that?
How many is what?
Rums.
Rums.
I stopped counting.
More than 5?
He's drank a lot of rum.
5,000.
6 foot, 7
foot, 8 foot rum! Daylight rum, man, he's gonna rum more.
So
No, it should be daylight rum, man. He's gonna throw up.
there you go. Now we got it. Now we're cooking with gas, kids.
Anyway, that does end our show for this week. Thank you again for listening. And as always, you check us out on our sweet ass Facebook at facebook.com/3 Drunk Geeks.
You can also check us out on our sweet ass Twitter at 3 Drunk Geeks.
And let me tell you, check out this sweet-ass mobile app, because it's called Stitcher, and we're on it. And all you need to do is get it, download it, and they'll ask you for a promo code, and you put in Drunk Geeks, and it'll take you directly to us. We'll be in your favorites, and you'll be entered to win $100.
And we get $1.
I got $1.
I got $1. I got $1. Hey, 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 hey.
Not to mention you can always leave us a sweet ass rating on iTunes because it totally does help. The more you give us ratings and reviews, the more people will see us. So please do that for us.
You can leave your voice on our sweet-ass voicemail line that we never use, 830-542-2260. That's 830...
Con! Zero. That's con with 3 A's.
Real quick, I have a couple of plugs because, well, I was here to plug a show originally. Kind of got lost somewhere, didn't it, guys?
No, this is when you're supposed to do the plug.
Okay. www.midnightmayhem.org. Buy your tickets for our Halloween show, October 31st. Pre-show starts at 9. I will be there as Dr. Frankenfurter, and I would love to see you there. And if you want to follow me and my crazy exploits, find me on Facebook at Jack Sullivan. That's Jack Sullivan. And again, the website is midnightmayhem.org. If you order online, your tickets are $15.
Sweet, good to know. You'll be there as Dr. Frankenfurter, and I will be there as the drunken asshole.
You're going to be Brad Majors?
Yes.
Brad doesn't get drunk on the show.
He should, though. Anyway. And as always, cheers.
Cheers.